How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is a map tour for a new mod map to Farming Simulator 22 called Simple Midwest. And we're going to start with the description from the mod hub, and it reads: a Midwest map with a focus on farming, larger fields, simple layout, made for large crop productions, plenty of space around the outside to add productions and sale points, and all land is bought with production plants, along with the production plants being sellable. Roads are able to be purchased for free, so you can do terrain editing right up to the roads. Snow will also fall on the gravel roads, so you can use snow items more. There is the main farm with a good amount of sheds and storage, and two more smaller farms that you must buy the land to use. Now, normally I would read the required mods, but there was a problem. The required mods section of the page here says the Old Wooden Barn by Ecus. This mod did not download, and I looked in the mod hub and was not available whatsoever. But this building is on the map, just on another location, not where you can see right now. So it says required, but I don't think it's actually required. This map was created by Tash and is 187.58 megabytes to download. If we take a look at the map, this is what it looks like. You start here kind of in the middle westish portion of the map. You start out by owning farmland number 19, and is your main farm and a large field with no product in it. You cannot purchase all areas of the map, and prices do vary but are still relatively expensive. Some of the smaller fields, let's see, like this one here, $152,000, but because you start with such a large farm right off the bat, it's going to be pretty quick to get the money. Even these really small periphery ones, like this really tiny one here with nothing on it, it's just kind of landscape here, is $81,000. The one next to $138,000, one a little further, $130,000. Now you go into some of the bigger fields like this one up in the corner, $3 million. Whew, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive, but hopefully you'll be able to build up to it pretty quick because you are using big equipment and big land. There are no animals to start out with. Contracts are available, and I will say I do like this. Earl Johnson, Wilbur Smith, Alex Johnson, and Isabella Johnson. Like, you can see just all the custom pictures and names, and it's small details like that that I really do appreciate. Production chains, there are none to start out with, and there are no contracts on this map. And if we take a look at mods specific to this map, there's nothing under the buy menu, but under the build mode. If we look under buildings and sheds, we scroll to the right, you will see Simple Midwest, one mod specific to this map there. Under silos, got a couple here as well. Nothing under silo extensions. Whoops. Under silo extensions, nothing under containers, nothing under tools, but under farmhouses, we do have the Simple Midwest farmhouse right there. There's nothing under all the productions, nothing under animals, nothing under decorations, and nothing under landscaping. Now, we are at our starting farm, so let's go ahead and take a look at our starting equipments. Go into the buy menu. Under owned items, we have under medium tractors a John Deere 6230R, a New Holland T7 275 HD, and a Valtra Velmet 8750. Under harvesters, we have a New Holland CH770, trailers, a Rudolph DK 280RL, header for the New Holland, another corn header for the New Holland. Under plows, we have a Converland Ecomat. Under cultivators, we have the K-Brand ProLander 7500, seeders, the Vaderstadt Rapide A800S, a header trailer, the Nardi N6030, and under weights we have a 10 Winkle Pack 1500 and a Agco 650. So not bad to start out with. Now if I turn around, we have a house that should be familiar with some people. We step inside. Sleep trigger right here. Wardrobe trigger right there. Yeah, this should be relatively familiar to some people. Now, if we go in here, silo straight ahead, and hay storage right over there. Now we're going to go in the back here. We're going to grab one of our tractors. And now we're going to start making our way around the map. Okay, now heading off to the east. Off to our right, we have a water tank right next to the large pond right there. And continuing ahead all the way down, we have a little ways. That's the only thing about this map is even though you have very direct routes, very straight and not a lot of turning or bobbing, weaving anywhere, it takes a while to get from place to place because you're going like pretty much to the outskirts of the entire map. I do like this bridge right here. This is really nice. So continuing on until we get to the next road right up here. And up here we're going to make a left. And then coming up here on my right is the next point of interest. Right there behind the tree. That is a lime station, a place where you can go and buy some lime. Continue ahead down the road and we'll hit our first cluster of points of interest. Pull ahead a little bit and then we'll stop. So starting here, we have the dairy. For $98,723 you can purchase the dairy. We have our input here and our output right there. Repair trigger right over here. We have a cereal factory right over here. $110,000 to purchase. Outputs here, inputs right over here. We have our grape processing unit right here. $80,000 to purchase. Outputs here, inputs here, and our sugar mill. $80,000 to purchase. Outputs there and inputs around the backside over here. Now we'll go hop in the tractor again. Now we head back to the west. The terrain is very nice on this map. The nice slight undulations on the fields there, very, very nice. Now this is our next point of interest, and we have to take a look at the map for this. So stop here. We'll take a look. We started here at our main farm. We saw our sleep trigger and our wardrobe trigger, our silo, and our hay storage. It's a hay loft by Tash. Then we grabbed our tractor, came all the way down here. We passed by our water tank, came all the way to this end here where we saw the lime station, the dairy, repair trigger, the cereal factory, grape processing unit, and sugar mill. Then came all the way down here to this point. This is going to be farm number 2, and you can purchase it by purchasing farmland number 7 for $316,704. Now I'm going to go ahead and borrow the money to be able to purchase this. I'm actually going to borrow a whole bunch of money so that way I can purchase the next one as well. There we go. That should be more than enough. Now go back, purchase farmland number 7, and there we go. Got a couple new triggers that came up. Starting with right over here, sleep trigger, wardrobe trigger, and a silo. Do have a little bit of storage here, but that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and sell this. And now, I'm going to turn around and head to our next point of interest. Coming up here on the corner is our next point of interest. Now straight ahead, a little bit off to my left, that is the Livestock Forage Disaster Program sell point. Right there. Continuing down the road, we'll hit our next point of interest. Actually, several points of interest because they're all kind of clumped together. Again, crossing over a nice bridge. A little water feature. Alright, so here on my right, our next point of interest, this is the animal dealer. Now you can come to this location and use this icon or any icons that you have, or any, let me say that again. Come to this location, you can use this icon, or you can use this same icon on any pens or pastures that you have placed onto the map. Currently there are none when you first start, so you have to place them first. But once you place the pen and pasture down, you'll then be able to use either of these icons to be able to purchase your animals. Now if you do use this icon or the ones at the pens and pastures, you will see that you have an additional fee. That fee is associated to a delivery fee. It's essentially the animal dealer simulating taking the animals from this location over to your pens and pastures wherever they may be located. And it can add up and get pretty expensive. For an adult cow, it's $100 per cow. So depending on how many you need or how many you're going to get, adds up pretty quickly. Now you can save that money by coming to this location with an animal trailer. Bring your animal trailer over this location here, load directly into the animal trailer, and then deliver the animals yourself. You'll save all that fee money. It works out very nicely, but totally up to you. You can pay for the convenience, or you can save the money. Continuing down, the animal dealer sell point. To my left, that is the electrical charge point, gas station, and biomethane station. One right next to the other. Continuing down, gonna head to the next corner of the map. Okay. Now, tucked away in the back of this building. Pull in here. Back here is the Johnson's Farmers Market sell point. Now heading south. Coming up here to my right is the next point of interest. Right here is the grain mill. You can purchase this for $149,312. Input here, and typically the output's here, but I have not seen the hazard box to indicate where an output would be. So my guess is going to be that it's where it's normally it's at, is just not labeled. Continuing down the road. Our next point of interest, tucked away right over here. This is a spinnery. Purchase this for $60,000. You have your inputs here and outputs right around the back. And now we're going to head down this back road to get to our next purchasable farm. Now coming up here on the left is the driveway. Now we'll head all the way down here. Very, very long driveway. Okay. So now if we stop right here, we take a look at the map. We were originally here at farm number 2, came up and around to the livestock forage disaster program sell point, the animal dealer sell point, the electrical charge station, gas station, and biomethane station, then out to the Johnson's Farmers Market, down here to the grain mill, then to the spinnery, out to here. Now if we purchase farmland number 1, that's $885,792. Go ahead and purchase. See, more icons have appeared. We have our silo here. Tucked around the back side over here is a sleep trigger. And this building is the mod that I mentioned at the very beginning that is supposed to be required, but is not available on the mod hub or anything like that. Now if I take a look, it was called the old wooden barn. If I hover over it and right click it with the right thumbstick, you can see old wooden barn. So that to me tells me that this is the mod in question. It was just put in as a specific to this map rather than a required mod. So now let's go ahead and sell this again. Oh dear, oh dear. You saw nothing. Moving on. Heading back down the driveway. And getting my notes back up. There we go. Backtracking just a little ways. Now here we're going to make a left. To my right is a repair trigger. again to my right is the oil mill. Output there, input, and can be purchased for $80,000. Gas station directly in front of me across the street. Biomass heating plant right over there. Debris crusher, and another lime station. Now tucked in over here, we have our shop trigger right there in front of us. And repair trigger right over here. Now heading down the road. Whoops. Heading to the southwest corner, which is where the main town is located. Tucked around the back of that building is the Red Marble Bowling Restaurant sell point. A gas station right there. Pizzeria sell point to the right. Supermarket sell point tucked behind that building there. And then over here, we have a, whoops, I almost forgot, electrical charging point right here. Bakery here for $50,000 you can purchase. Input here and output in the back. Over here we have the tailor shop for $100,000 you can purchase. Input here, wardrobe trigger here, and output in the back. Repair trigger back here. This is the fast food restaurant sell point. Over here is the restaurant sell point. And then coming up over here to my right is the farmer's market sell point. And now we continue down the road a little ways. I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden my feed just cut out and back in. I will likely cut that out. Probably because I readjusted and must have jiggled something loose. Anyways, continuing down the road. Up there to my right, you see the icon starting to come into frame. That is the Feed and Grain South sell point. Another nice bridge and feature that goes over the river, cuts through right through the center of the map almost. So you can kind of see right there. Not the center, but kind of. And now the last point of interest. A couple of bunkers, well, a bunker silo right there. We have an electrical charge point, a biomethane station, and the biogas plant. Can purchase this for $1,180,000. Solid input there, liquid input here, and liquid output, aka digestate, here. And that is it. That is the simple Midwest map. Now it is time to render my opinion. What do I think of this map? Now here, normally I drive around, but because it's so long and so far away from places, I'm going to go ahead and skip around. So 0 to 5 scale as per usual. Now, I'm going to start out with a lot of cons, the things I don't like about this map. Starting out with this here. A lime station out in the middle of nowhere. It just seems like this was just plunked here, just kind of put here to be put here kind of thing. And honestly, that's probably the best way I can like summarize how I feel about the entire map. So again, let's go up here. It just feels like everything is just boop, there it is. Boop, there it is. Boop, there it is. Just like every single production, every single building, with the exception, the only exception where I don't necessarily feel that way are the kind of farm areas. Now, to an extent, I still feel that, but it still feels kind of more lived in, if that is kind of a good way to explain it. Like, because you got so many buildings that all kind of tie and go together, it seems like they kind of just kind of feel right. Especially in the kind of farm number 2 and farm number 3, those ones kind of feel like really kind of lived in. But everything else just seems like, here it is. Like, here you go. This is where this is. Like, this sell point, I have no idea this sell point whatsoever. The Livestock Forage Disaster Program. No clue. I get it. It's a sell point, and it's just a name. Might be a program I'm not aware of. I have no idea. The use of this building just seems kind of off, weird maybe for this particular sell point. You've got these gas stations kind of plunked around, and it's these kind of like old school gas stations, like single booth gas stations, charging points, and things like that. Just again, like you don't see like these things anymore, so it just doesn't seem right to me. Like, you certainly don't see these active. Like, you may see these in places around the country, especially out in the middle of nowhere, but you don't see these in use. So this just kind of, I don't know, feels wrong. And again, you go around to these sell points and just, it feels open and empty. Like, this area feels like it's just kind of there, but at least this one has like fencing around it to kind of make you feel like there's something going on besides the building. But again, it just seems so open that it just doesn't feel lived in. It feels fake. Now, I know that we can purchase some of these areas. You can't purchase the sell point areas, but you can purchase the production areas. The land for the production. When you purchase the production areas, it buys the land as well. And you can kind of dress them up. But again, this is one of those, like, it just feels like, boop, there it is. And now it's on you to kind of build it up and make it look not so here it is. So, I don't know. It's just feels uninspiring is probably the best way that I can put it. Now, this one at least has some kind of cars that are parked around here, like kind of a decorative feel. There's different styles of dirt paths and stuff that kind of, again, that kind of leads to a little bit of decorative flair to this building, but not by much. Let's see. The shop area, which is, where was that? That was right here. No, that was the repair trigger. Where's the shop? There's the shop. Again, this is just a massively wide open space that just doesn't feel lived in. It just feels like buildings. But again, we get a couple of parked cars that make it look a little bit, but it's just, I don't know, it just feels incomplete. Like there's just not a lot here. And you especially see that here in the town. So if we look here and go kind of a higher elevation, like this is starting to look nice. Like, you're starting to see some activity. You're starting to see, pedestrian spines, traffic splines, another gas station. But again, this one just looks like, this one actually looks like a really nice gas station. Just a really, really small town gas station. It looks nice. But then you've got like the old school, like, gas pumps and all that. It just seems like a almost like a retro kind of feel to it, which is kind of nice. I mean, I like that. And certainly something that you could potentially see somewhere, some place that wants that kind of nostalgic feel. That's certainly within the realm of possibility. But then we keep going through and you see, like, again, it just feels like a here it is kind of thing. Like, all these areas just don't feel like they're complete. They just feel like empty. Again, the traffic splines are... I'm sorry, the pedestrian splines are fine. The traffic splines are also fine. That's making it kind of feel a little bit more alive and more real. But for the most part, like, you got a ton of pedestrian traffic that's all around here that's clogging up a lot of the traffic spline. I would think that just having a few less people, like actually quite a few less people walking through here, would be a vast improvement. Because this being a small town, you're not going to get hordes of people just come walking through the town. At least, not from the small town I lived in. You're not going to see whole hordes of people, unless it's some kind of special occasion, like a parade in town or something that's going to draw a lot of people out. Now that I've kind of lingered on the negatives, I'm going to start talking about some positives. Positives that I do like about this map. One, the terrain. I do like the, in areas, flatness, especially here in the town, but I really like the kind of mild, easing undulations that you will see throughout the map. So if we kind of zoom in here, you'll see there's definitely, different terrain levels. It's not, pancake flat. It is flat-ish, but with just gentle rolling hills. It's nice. That terrain does remind me of the Midwest. And when you're out in the kind of, outside of any of the major productions or sell points or anything like that, the map is really solid, and I really like it. I really like that river system. It kind of cuts through the middle of the map there. The bridge networks that are on here are also very, very nice. You've got this bridge down here, which seems kind of, modern and nice. You got this other one that's kind of more retro on this dirt road. And then you have one up here that's kind of in between the two. And again, it's just nice little touches like that. You do get those nice touches. I like the fields. Some of the fields are really big. A couple of them are smaller, but some of them are worker friendly. Some of them are not. So you get these kind of squared off fields that are really worker friendly. Same thing with these ones here. But then you start to get these kind of jagged ones, these, little oddballs here. And then you get like this one here that's along the riverside, and it's all cut at an angle that's weird. This one's here, same thing. This one here, the same thing, and this one here. So you get a slight mixture of challenging, quote-unquote, fields and easy fields. And you get the kind of typical American style of fields, too, where you get these massive, massive fields. And it just kind of ranges from a really good, large, medium large size to a large or extra large size fields. You get that nice range. And again, because you start out with a nice chunk of land, you get the opportunity to be able to build up and buy into those. Even the one that's $3 million, you're going to get there relatively quickly if you start purchasing some of these production points and some other fields first. You're going to get there relatively quickly. But outside of that, one other thing. One thing that a lot of map makers don't do very well is this kind of outer border that outlines the map itself. A lot of map makers will have large drop-offs off to the side, so that when you're doing anything close to the edge of the map, it just looks unnatural. There's That or they'll use these giant hills that kind of, you know, obscure the terrain, if anything going off into the distance, so it just looks really unfitting for the map. This map, this kind of outer periphery, actually looks really decent. Like, you see the graphics loss. You see it. That's one thing, but when you're away from the road like this, it looks somewhat natural. It doesn't look that bad, even from the road. If I'm driving along the road at speed, you know, not a big deal. You can kind of, you know, let it kind of take over your imagination, and you can kind of see, okay, the train kind of continues, and it's a gentle rolling hill. It's not, or gentle rolling hills, you know, and you've got trees out there as well, so it really kind of does a good job at, you know, mimicking the landscape that you get within the playable map surface itself. You know, you can see rolling hills in the distance there. You see tons of trees that are just out, you know, out there, kind of thing, that just, again, makes it look like part of the map, and it looks really decent. I like that. So all in all that being said, what do I think of this map? 0 to 5 scale, I would have to give this map probably a 1.5 to 2, somewhere in there. And I feel probably more comfortable with a 1.5. Just like I said, this map just feels very uninspiring to me. That just, and look, before I move on and say the rest of this, I'm not saying this to be mean or to be overly critical of the map maker. I greatly appreciate the map maker going through and creating this map, because there are going to be people who like this map, and they're going to like the fact that things are kind of stripped out and bare bones kind of thing, to where they can kind of customize it and do it themselves, you know, build it up to their liking. And that's fine. That's totally fine. Me personally, this is too empty. This just doesn't feel complete. It doesn't feel like something that is going to be, that is going to be something that I would want to invest time in, because there's so many things that I would want to invest my time into. You know, not only am I going to want to build up my farm, but I'm going to want to build up all of these areas. And unfortunately, I can't buy all the areas to build up. Like the town here, I can't buy it to be able to build this up and make it look, you know, a little bit better. Now this is not bad. This, you know, nice little white picket fence, housed area, that's nice. But then you get down a little bit further, and then you get just bloop, again, it just feels plunked. Nothing here just doesn't seem consistent. Now, I'm not saying you need a nice white picket fence on every single house. That wouldn't make sense. But again, there's just no decoration. There's no kind of feeling that you get from being in the town or being around a lot of the built up areas of the map. So it's one of those where, you know, let me go back. So like I was saying, I greatly appreciate the map maker, and any map maker going out and making a map for us. Any modder making a mod for us is greatly appreciated. I'm not saying any of this stuff to be mean or be hurtful in any way. This is meant to be constructive criticism. From my point of view, this map just doesn't feel complete. It feels like there should be a lot more to it. And if there was more in the ways of decoration, if there was more of the ways of things that kind of bordered or even within some of the sell points to make it look more, and to make it feel more alive and more a part of the whole quote-unquote simulation, then it would be a really solid map. Because again, I really do like the layout and the terrain, because it does remind me of a Midwest town, like a Midwest out in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. I do like that. Oh, that's something that would need to be fixed by the user. Gonna have to plow that out and make it a part of the field. But you know, you get this nice little hillside right here next to your starting farm, which again, it seems natural. It seems very nice. Something else that just dawned on me. Oh, you do get some forestry areas along the riverside here. So yeah, you do get some forestry work. You do get some up here in the little bit here in the sides. But yeah, it's just like I said. I think a little bit more effort could have been put into the kind of decoration and uplifting the map just a bit. But that's just that's how I feel about it. About 1.5 out of 5. But I hope you enjoyed this map tour. If you did, please show them by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. That shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.